AgWeek weather is sponsored by Bremer Bank. Connect with a banker today at bremer.com.
How will the weather fare as we head into the heart of the summer months? Here's John with our Agri-weather outlook.
As advertised 1 week ago, the very hot start to summer in the northern plains has suddenly gone mild. Cool temperatures, or at least relative to the 80s and 90s that we were enduring for most of May and June in the northern plains, it's just gone much, much cooler. However, there's definitely heat in the United States. The world is not cooling down, just the northern plains, and it's just the weather pattern. Southern plains are enduring very hot weather. We'll take a look at where that heat is at its worst. None of this really unseasonable. It's just maybe on the stretch of average. Cooler than average north, warmer than average in the south. As far as the storms go, the biggest areas of rain over the next couple of weeks, mostly kind of in the mid-south. Not really quite down to the Gulf Coast, that area somewhere between the central southern plains eastward through the middle west. Let's take a look at the weather pattern. The big culprit for the change has been, I think, what will end up being a relatively temporary, but it's hard to say, but a relatively temporary deep low pressure trough down into the Hudson Bay region. This is sending the jet stream right out of the high Arctic, down through Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and then right into North Dakota. Now, that's about the limit of it. So we're seeing really chilly weather up around Hudson Bay, and we're actually seeing temperatures mostly in the 70s. There was a day last week that only was in the 60s in North Dakota, a couple of days like that in Manitoba. We might see another day this week if it rains where it's only in the 60s, but the days that aren't raining, I expect will be in the 70s, and we'll get some days up into the lower 80s. We're just not seeing any hot weather. Unusually cool weather, though, on the south side of Hudson Bay with this kind of out-of-season deep area of low pressure. The heat, that's a Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana thing. That's where it's a little bit hotter than average. We are seeing sort of typical 90-degree type weather in the southeastern states. And the jet stream still, over this week anyway, the real feature is this area of low pressure, which by the weekend will begin to fade, and we'll start to see a flattening out of the pattern. But what we're not seeing is any really dramatic ridging. This is mostly going to be 70s and 80s out in the prairie provinces. This is still going to mostly be 70s and 80s across the northern plains. We'll kick the cool weather way back up north and see the hot weather continuing down in the southern states. Now, what does this pattern do for precipitation? Well, this week, because of the jet stream dropping down south, we are going to see from North Dakota up toward Hudson Bay a fair array of scattered showers and thunder showers. Probably not any unusually wet weather. It's just going to continue to shower every few days. More rains down in the mid-south. The second week, the west stays dry. Showers up around Hudson Bay and again through the mid-south of the U.S.